Welcome to Filmatic. I'm your host, the Film Doctor. Let's talk about some of the news inside of the movies. First of all, I know that I've been talking about the whole Black Widow thing and Marvel thing because to me that's going to be a big chunk of where Filmatic episodes will be coming from, like what we'll be reviewing. And looking at like Black Widow, they said it was going to be on Disney Plus, and they said it was going to be pushed, and they said it's not going to be pushed. Updated news says that it looks like they're pushing their entire timeline. Black Widow, I think I read around November 2020, and then some they're going to just move down the entire timeline. I hope that that means that, once everything gets back to normal, that they're filming things at a rate where that once they're done, they can kind of put things kind of closer together versus spreading them out. But, it's unseen, it's unforeseen. So we'll see how things play out with that. And so that's about it I have for the news. Let's talk about what's coming soon. Now this movie is called Survive the Night, and it's with Bruce Willis. I almost said Ben Willis, and I don't even know who that is. But it's with Ben Willis. God. It's with Bruce Willis. And so I don't know much about it, but most of the movies that Bruce Willis has been doing has been with like independent movies. You haven't seen him do any like big blockbuster hits that have come to the movie theaters and or that have been good since like maybe the last Lethal Weapon, and that was all right. It wasn't really great. So let's take a look at Survive the Night with Bruce Willis.
I never expected to be sued as a doctor. I'm thinking of settling. What am I supposed to do?
What do you want me to say, Rich? Suppose I was one of your patients. What do you tell me?
I tell you to fight.
Yeah.
They find that body in the morning, they're gonna come looking for us.
On the search for two fugitives suspected of armed robbery earlier this evening.
I need a doctor. Is that him?
Yeah, that's him.
This is perfect. Isolated, remote. My brother already has your wife and kid.
You're operating, Doc.
My brother dies, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your daughter, I'm gonna kill your wife, and I'm gonna kill your dad.
Are we gonna be okay?
Used to be the big dog in town. Don't try anything. When I start cutting, fight on this. We have to take control.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna come for you. I promise. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna fight him. Get out of here now.
You're a tough son of a bitch, huh?
So looking at that trailer, obviously it's an independent movie. It says it's going to be in select theaters and then straight to digital or in DVD. So, it's like the majority of the last few Bruce Willis, Ben Willis movies that we've seen. I'm going to start calling him Ben Willis. That is amazing because until he starts doing some worthy movies, he is the low budget version of Bruce Willis, Ben Willis. Now the music inside that was really good. I don't know who sings it. I actually might end up looking it up just because I think that the music was completely placed well, with the whole Survive the Night lyrics inside of it and the Survive the Night kind of song or movie title that we have, is what I meant to say. So to me, I think it was a good trailer. It was action. When I first started watching the beginning of that trailer, I instantly thought of a movie called Death Sentence. If you haven't seen this, with I believe Kevin Bacon it was. And so it kind of gave me that feel. And then it had a little bit of, there was a movie called, I want to say Trapped with Nicolas Cage, where the family's inside the house. So it was kind of a mixture, I think, from watching that trailer of both of those both of those movies. But all in all, you know, a lot of the independent movies, speaking of Nicolas Cage, Bruce Willis, aka Ben Willis, both of those actors have been doing a lot of independent movies where they're not inside of the theaters, but when you watch it, they're actually pretty good. I can't think of some of the independent titles just because they weren't big name movies, but I actually own a couple of them, of movies that Nicolas Cage did that weren't, movies that went to the theaters, but they came to, DVD. So, or digital, whatever the case may be. So to me, those were good movies, and this could potentially be a really good movie. So that's all we have with what's coming soon. Let's talk about new releases. So I'm excited to talk about this. It's not really a movie, it's a documentary. It's not a movie from theaters, it's on Netflix. And it's a very popular documentary that's been going around called The Tiger King. This documentary is first of all, is very popular. Everyone's watching, everyone's talking about it, whatever the case may be. Some may like it, some may hate it, whatever. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I think it was good enough to give an A rating. And I'll get into the reasons why I give it such a high rating and why I don't give it a higher rating than some people may think it deserves, or whatever the case should be. But just to talk a little bit about this story, it's just about these, they're very sane, calm, very, pleasant white people that are out running zoos, and they're out doing like very, kind things to each other, just trying to, learn more about each other inside of, how they operate and how they do business with their zoo. And the thing about it is, it's pretty normal. It's pretty, laid back with, how it's set out. Yeah. Now, talking about say that these people are normal. Let me tell you something. I love white people. These aren't normal white people. Crazy white people will be like, those motherfuckers crazy than motherfuckers. Let me tell you something, okay? I can't even tell. This documentary was crazy. Okay, first of all, this is what I want you to do. I want you, so that because you haven't seen it, right? I want you to get on your computer and Google meth mouth, okay? I didn't know what that shit is. Let me tell you, okay? When you're done, Google like predator or piranha. Yes. Oh, bro. Let me tell you, there's a couple of them in there with like fangs and shit. I thought I was watching Twilight. Let me tell you, these motherfuckers is not normal. They crazy. They crazy. You didn't see no black people in there doing that crazy shit? No, we don't do shit like... Hold on one second. I think I left it on record. To be honest, like there were a couple things, that went wrong inside of this whole story of these zookeepers, where certain people didn't get along. Like there's this guy named Joe Exotic. He didn't get along with this woman named Carol Baskins, and then there's a couple other zoo keepers that had their own story. One with several wives, and just everybody's life was entangled inside of one. But I think that, looking at this from a film analytical perspective, okay, you can't look at the cinematography of this, though it was good. If I don't know if they were just pulling footage that they've had inside the past or whatever the case may be, but you can't look at cinematography for this documentary. You can't even really talk about the acting because it's a documentary. There is no real acting. You would think that Joe Exotic is acting, but he acting a fool. Okay, This guy is cray-cray, for sure, okay? It keeps you entertained, and the thing that I like about it is that I didn't really know much about it, but apparently Joe Exotic, he's way bigger than what you would imagine, and this stuff has happened more recent than you may know, and it's still going on. I mean, they're even talking about doing a second season to this because stuff is still unfolding. There's the second episode, because I think it's 4 parts. The second episode is really about like Carol killing her husband. Did she feed him to the lions and whatnot? And everybody's talking about, did Carol do it and blah, blah, blah. Did Joe do this and blah, blah, blah. But, there's just so much and it's unanswered. And, some things were solved. Some things were caught on camera. There's one of Joe, because Joe's like, he's a gay zookeeper. And so he had this husband who ended up, being caught on tape doing something. And to me, that was really shocking, jaw-dropping to me. So there's just so many different things that happen inside of this documentary that capture your attention. So like I was saying, just to backtrack a little bit, since you can't really talk about cinematography, you can't really talk about the acting, the music. I don't really think there was music. I mean, if you're talking about Joe Exotic singing his songs or whatever, those were terrible, but they were kind of catchy. I was kind of snapping my finger along to some of it. But looking at the story, I think that's really, as a film doctor on Film Addict, that's really the only thing that you can analyze this documentary about. And I would say the story, it was okay. The reason why I mark it down is because at some points they're kind of jumping all over the place versus telling this story. Inside of a movie, and I understand maybe in a documentary there's a different kind of layout, but the same point is that you still want to go from beginning, middle, and end and tell that story. And I think that sometimes they were just all over the place in terms of the stuff that they were talking about. And that could just be, the footage that they had, and they had to be able to take that and be able to tell that story from beginning to end. To me, I don't know what difficulties they had to deal with, but I would say that with what footage they had and how they compiled that into a 4-part series, it was well done, good enough for me to give it an A. So that's my opinion on The Tiger King. I think that if you have not seen it, you should check it out. It is a great documentary. It will keep your attention. It has so many loopholes and obstacles and shocking moments that will blow your mind, and points where you're just like, what is going on? So check it out. It's on Netflix, Tiger King. But that's just for that. Let's talk about movies that are must-see. Now, the movie that I'm talking about with must-see is a movie called Tron Legacy. This, I talk about my top 3 and say that my first one that I reviewed, not that long ago, was Ready Player One. How I'm a big gamer, as you can tell from the game setup, that Ready Player One is one of my favorites. Now, before Ready Player One, I won't say Tron Legacy is my number 1 before Ready Player One, because it's always been The Matrix, but Tron Legacy is definitely one of my favorite video game movies prior to Ready Player One. I said if you had to pick all the movies that are based on video games or circled around video games, because I guess you could throw something like Jumanji inside of there, Tron Legacy was one of those movies that was about video games, and it had so much good quality in it. In terms of the music and the cinematography, I think that the music was very well done in terms of how upbeat it was, and, how it kept your attention, how when you're driving, when you have those chase scenes, whether on cars, motorcycles, or whatever they're doing, you gotta have that. If the music's not good inside of a chase scene, it can kind of be mediocre. But the music here was kind of that like punk beat, upbeat kind of drumming guitar kind of stuff, and I think that it was well put together. The cinematography was great because it was stuff that you hadn't seen. The whole light cycle and the light ring, and the fight scenes with that, they were amazing. The choreography with those fight scenes and how those were done. I personally think that there should have been a second one. I heard that they were working on one and they got scrapped, and I don't know why, because the way this movie ended has so much potential to go inside of a different direction, to where they could have talked about a lot more and opened up the door to new characters and all kinds of things. This movie was just a fan favorite for kids, for adults, something you can watch with the family, something that you could watch over and over. A lot of movies from back in the day, you could watch them now and be like, oh, that's an old movie. But when you watch this now, because of how well it's done, how well it's shot, the cinematography, how bright and vibrant the colors are, you're just like, did this just come out? Like, if you've never heard of it before. This movie was very good. I give it an A+. I think it was very well done. The acting, the acting was decent. It wasn't something where it was like, oh, let's give them an Oscar. It was still decent performances from the individuals that they chose. I mean, the story was very well done, connecting it to him in search of his father, and how that was done. So if you haven't seen this movie and you like video games, I think that this is a perfect movie for you to kind of look into. You can probably see it on Disney Plus because it is a Disney movie. But as you can see, and even some of the sequences, the lights and the suits that they wear, I heard, and I can't remember how much, but I heard like the suit that he wears with the light ring on the back, that was an actual suit that they custom made and everything, and it cost a lot of money. So they put the time in, they put the money in, the vibrant colors and the neon lights, all of those are just like, it's what added to it. It has like this blue hue to it. You know, we were talking about cinematography and what makes cinematography. And like the whole movie and the whole concept is under this blue hue. I mean, every scene that you see is a blue hue to it. It doesn't ever really change from that. And so that keeps in tune with the consistency of this movie and the direction that they were headed. So I really loved it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's Tron Legacy. And that's really all I have for you guys today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, hit that bell. Go on ahead and email me. Do whatever you want to do. Comments below, whatever. You know, I'm the Film Doctor, and this has been another exciting episode of Filmatic.